From this part of the course onwards, we'll focus on complex UI that shares common data across different pages. And for that reason, we seriously need to think about how to approach state management within our applications. So I prepared this quick lesson that I want to go over with you. Let's go through it together. One of the frequently misinterpreted ideas in front-end or library framework usage, whether it's React or Next.js, is our tendency to use flashy trends over selecting what truly suits the situation or case at hand. You know, before you read this, you probably thought about which state management library to use, like RTK for Redux, or nowadays much more popular Zustand. It's normal. Like, we like to show off in a good way, and we like to use the tech that other people and YouTubers talk about. That's totally okay. But let's think a bit about the why. Question everything you're doing and only settle for the best. It's that why that plays a huge role in your developer life. Regarding how, even ChatGPT can do that nowadays. But let's explain the why properly. So try to answer this why. Which state management library would you like to use for Devflow? And if you got what I said earlier, the first thing you should ask yourself is, do we really need a state management library in the first place? Well, the best way to do that is by looking at the actual application flow on Figma. Here, we can ask ourselves, what kind of data are we working with? That's the first question. Are we working with questions where we're mapping over them and each question has the creator, the timestamp, the number of votes, answers, views, and so on? Are we working with the data of displaying these navigation bar links? Maybe information about the user? What about the top questions or popular tags? How does that data change across different pages? Like on the other page, we keep the left sidebar, the right sidebar, and the navbar, but the middle content changes to show more details about a specific question. You can go through a couple of these questions and try to figure out which pieces of data we're handling. The second question, which I kinda answered already, you can see that that's how I naturally went through the design, is what kind of data is being repeated on different pages. So what would you say? In this case, what is being repeated? Well, we could say that left sidebar and right sidebar are being repeated, which is true, but we have already extracted those into separate reusable components. We also have pages like the users and tags and jobs, but these are not really getting repeated, are they? And finally, is there any particular kind of data that's being used across the application? And in this case, your initial response might involve the user. As you can see, the user data, which we can see right here at the top right, is being used in every single one of these pages. Everywhere there's this little JSM logo, or your logo in this case. So that means that storing that piece of data, the user session, in the global state would allow us to reuse it and save us from another database call. Maybe some search and filtering information should be in global state as well, like I mentioned for the sidebars. And that's a totally valid point. But now we have to explore things in detail and really answer the why. Behind the question, why do we need state management in the first place? And if we do need it, what's the simplest and best way to implement it?